All right, and we're back here on Couch Coach Live. Another Wednesday night under the lights here on Couch Coach Live. What's going on, Maui?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Just another week. Just
Yeah, yeah.
just grinding, man. Here.
Right. Oh man.
Yep. What about you, man?
Oh, I'm good, man. It's Wednesday. I get through the whole day, got everything situated. You know what I mean? Was able to get all the information that I needed, and was able to chill a little more ahead of schedule than I thought I was going to be. But hey, it's always content out there, though.
Yeah, man. We definitely got a great show. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yep. All right, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. We'll talk about some news that came earlier today. Carmelo Anthony reportedly elected to the pro basketball, not pro, but the Basketball Hall of Fame. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a little bit from the NFL annual meeting. We'll talk about three things in particular. We'll talk about the Tush Push still being available, the new OT rules, and pretty much potentially the ending of the chain game. We'll talk about that. A surprising firing in the NBA with Taylor Jenkins being let go as the regular season get ready to end. Prime time got an extension. We'll discuss that. And then also something that's near and dear. I know if you are listening to the program and you are maybe I would say about 35 and above, hearing the news of Hooters filing bankruptcy might hit a little different. So we'll talk about that. I know many of the Gen Zs, they've like, we don't care, but I know in the bad thing, I say about 35, because I think I say probably about 35, maybe even 30. They'll be they have fond memories of once was the Hooters franchise. So we'll talk about the future of Hooters and them filing for bankruptcy and potentially the potential end of one of America's greatest restaurants once upon a time. We'll discuss that as we proceed here on Couch Coach Live. So what we're going to do, we are going to kick that intro and we'll be right back here on Couch Coach Live. We'll be right back. Okay, that is not the intro that we had, but we're gonna know what's going on. Yes, and we like that. And we are back here on Couch Coach Live. This week's Couch Coach Live is powered by SeatGeek. Head to SeatGeek.com. Use the promo code Couch Coach. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase by using our promo code Couch Coach. So we are back here on Couch Coach Live. So we got to talk about the first bit of business here on Couch Coach Live tonight. And it is reported that Carmelo Anthony will be elected to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2025. Carmelo Anthony, great career, obviously 10-time All-Star, scoring champ in 2013, 3 Olympic gold medals, just to kind of, talk about his career in that brief moment there. So it won't be official until Monday, as far as when the whole class 2025 will be released. But there are reports that Carmelo Anthony has been elected to this year's Hall of Fame class of 2025. What's your thoughts on Melo being named a first ballot Hall of Famer? Your thoughts?
Well deserved. It's so many different so many different things that happen. Like some people was even discussing that he won't get his jersey um uh lifted in Denver, and some people say maybe not even New York. So to have this happen, and then to hear him discuss how he felt like he was being treated towards the end, him being first ballot is great. 19 seasons, 6 all NBA member, won 2003 national championship as a freshman. He's just a stellar career, man. Two-time U.S. basketball male athlete of the year, 2006 and 2016. I think 3 or 4 gold medals, 1 bronze. Um, I'm happy for him, man. And I felt like he didn't go out exactly the way he wanted to, but he did, and he gets to talk about it. And I feel like, man, I think people forget, like, when other athletes go through things and they're telling their story, you should learn from that, because eventually that may be you. You know what I'm saying? Even though you're young and everything is going well for you, like it just trips me out, man. And I don't want to be negative, because this is a great thing, but I think this makes it even greater. Is definitely how some of the teams that he went towards the end of his career, how he felt like he was being treated. You know what I mean? Saying that, they want me to come off the bench. He said, I've always been a starter. Like, it's those things are part of the process. Not everybody get to start their whole career. You know what I mean? So when you hit me and was like, hey, we're going to start off with this, I was like, man, that's great, because if there ever was a person to me that has retired and that has just taken it and was just humble and not, it's him. Like, since he's been retired, man, he's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? He's like a stable. You know what I mean? So congratulations, man. I'm happy for him. Now his son's about to make his way.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel old. I think I hear echo. All right, do you hear echo? I think we're good now. Okay. All right, I think we're good now. All right, I think we're good now.
Okay.
Yeah. Congratulations to Melo. I do feel low key old, because obviously he's a class of 2002 brethren, a 1984 guy. And the thing, obviously we had Chris Bosh in there as well too, so he represented 2002 as well. But in all seriousness, what a great honor for Carmelo. I think it's his career. When you really sit down and think about it, it did have its ups and downs. Obviously, like you talked about,
right.
As far as will his jersey be retired in Denver or New York?
Yeah.
You think the fact, especially considering the fact now you look at the Denver situation. Now we got Jokic, who essentially,
right.
you think of the number 15 in Denver as Jokic now, and probably for the foreseeable future. And then obviously with New York, not as long as a 10-year like at all, but he definitely deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. If my memory serves correct, I know he finished career 3 years ago. Really, he was a top 10. I think he was like 9th or 10th. If my memory serves correct, as far as all time leading scorer. So
right.
he definitely that mold. And that people got to remember, this isn't like the Pro Football Hall of Fame as far as your pro accolades would count in this one. This is a basketball totality. So you look at, like, he did obviously, as you mentioned, almost 22 years to the date, leading Syracuse to a national championship. Nearly 22 years to the date, literally. That, and then obviously having the great NBA career, and then also on top of it having a great Olympic career as well. Yeah, this is a great honor for Carmelo Anthony, and it's like one of the things, like you said, he and the thing about, like, as far as those strings, like in Houston, and you look at the Houston situation. I think the Houston situation in OKC, I didn't like those situations, but then you see how he's able to kind of bounce back in Portland, And then, so it's just one of those things where it's just a natural progression of someone for most people's career, especially
Right.
being in their 19. I think that's one thing too, people fail to realize. I think now we live in a world where we seeing guys 20 plus years, not to kind of talk about LeBron, but like you look at what he's doing and even what you doing with Chris Paul, I think he's getting ready to enter his 20th season probably next year. I think it will be 20 next year, I think. But anyway, yeah, that's what typically could happen for you. You have a 19-year career where you're gonna go to some teams where you're just not the fit there, and hey, it all still worked out for Carmelo. And like you said, what he's done in his his post retirement is great. I mean, like 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, I like that. I love it. I mean, it's I like what he's doing there, and then like you said, what Kai's getting ready to do at Syracuse, and how how he's gonna be in the ACC under the lights at the Carrier Dome. It's gonna be fun, man. So shout out to my 1984 member and a class 2002 legend. He's the reason why you wear the hoodie Melo. You know what I'm saying? I think I wore hoodie Melo for Halloween one year, and it was like, what are you doing? Like, why you have a hoodie on with a Carmelo jersey on? I was like, you know what? If you know, you know, but if you don't, it's all good.
I would like to see him being like on a Olympic basketball committee.
That could be down the road. I mean, hey,
Yeah, I would like to see him on that. Yeah. Yeah, because I think he's one of those ones that really understands. I think having Grant Hill and then having somebody like a Carmelo, which you have, Grant Hill was more of a sophisticated type of gentleman, you know what I mean? And Carmelo was more hood, you know what I mean? Having those two on there, it would be easier to recruit and have guys come, because Carmelo really took it very, very seriously than most. You know what I mean?
And that's actually, and shout out to our guy Curtis Kelly. That's a good point, because I know he was talking about on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn the other night that he wants to own the Wizards. And also, this is another point that Curtis did bring up, and I definitely, people forget that Melo would have been number one pick if LeBron hadn't went to college. Yeah, I mean, especially coming off of that Syracuse run, but when you have a generational talent like LeBron James, it's just and that's. And quiet as kept, he should have been the number 2 overall pick. But I know we had a discussion during the pandemic. A part of me is like, I'm kind of glad he fell into that lap, because you think to yourself, we talk about Carmelo potentially being a first ballot Hall of Famer if he was under the tutelage of Larry Brown. And that's my Carolina guy. So I try to go easy on those guys, but let's just keep it a buck. Where with him, he could have potentially hindered his career, because you obviously, and the people say, well, he would have started over Tayshaun Prince. But remember, like I keep telling it, that 04, because we talk about Carmelo being a 3-time gold medalist. He had the opportunity potentially to be 4 if Larry Brown wasn't stubborn and played his best players. They all were teenagers, with the exception of his 2 best players were teenagers, and he did not let them play. And Dwayne Wade, even though Dwayne Wade was like 21 at the time, but your 3 best players was a 19-year-old, because that was 2004. So they both 19 years old. Your 2 best players were 19 years old.
The tallest person on the team was Tim Duncan. You know that the tallest player on that team was Tim Duncan.
Right.
It was horrible. Like, he tried to block a shot. He had his hand at the hip. It was horrible, man. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And it just show you the politics that, like, we supposed to be winning a gold medal. You're not even trying to put the best people out there. Like, that was crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. And that's the thing where it's just, that 04 team. And it's funny because that the kind of go to the Olympics team, but that's another one where the 08 team might be headed to the pro, not the pro, I keep on saying pro basketball. I'm thinking like football, but anyway, the Basketball Hall of Fame, they might be in it. So he might be going to the Hall of Fame twice, as far as the member of the 2008 team, and then obviously him being as a player. So Mecca Okafor. Yep. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, Yeah, that team was horrible. That 04, that's something that it's funny where you want to forget it, but you can remember that team like it's like infamously remember them, and it's like it's crazy.
It's sad because if they really would have done it right, it'd have been a dangerous team. They had Marbury, they had Iverson, then you got Wade, and you got um LeBron and Carmelo. That it could have been dangerous. Like he could have sped the game up. It's a bunch of stuff he could have done. It's just that's the problem with just our sports, man. Everybody just we need to play this way or we need to do this. Nobody really does anything to try to win. Like they don't make it. I feel bad for anybody that were really trying to put they do I want to win and but everybody has their own agenda. It's crazy.
I know, man. It is crazy, but yeah, man, it's a
Okay.
trip. But yeah, man. So we gotta talk about the annual NFL meeting. I don't know why I keep calling it the owners meeting, but it's really called the NFL annual meeting. So this is where they go to Florida. You have all the owners, all the coaches, um, and a lot of stuff was discussed over this 3 day period. So a few things that we'll talk about as far as from the owners meetings itself. Three key things. Well, really, we touch on one brief topic first. Obviously, they did announce during the annual meetings, that we will have a triple header on Christmas night, well, Christmas Day. So you'll still have the two Amazon games on Christmas, and then you'll have the Amazon Prime game at night. Obviously, because Christmas this year falls on a Thursday, so I don't know if that's more so of a coincidence or they just going to just keep it the status quo. So I don't know if that's going to be, but that also was announced. Then we'll talk about the OT rules for the regular season. So back prior to this new rule change, you remember how it was OT, pretty much whoever scores a touchdown wins the
Right.
game. So you can have a situation where, yes, you can be on defense. If you allow a touchdown, you lose the game, or like that. So now what they're gonna do? They're gonna do they're gonna do the regular season overtime like they do the playoffs, where each team gets a possession. And another change to it is that instead of having the 15-minute overtime, it will be 10 minutes. That was
Hmm.
one of the topics as well. Then we talked about it. We kind of teased a little bit, like as far as the ending of the chain game. Not quite yet, but I definitely see it in the near future. So they're going to adopt Hawkeye technology. This is Sony is going to be a part of this, and it's called
Hmm.
the Hawkeye technology. Pretty much, it's going to have multiple camera angles in 8K. And they'll
Hmm.
be the ones that are going to be determining the down and distance. Unlike you have the chain game, but the chain game still will exist during the 2025 season. They will be more so on standby. So a chain game will be there, but they won't. They'll be there in cases of as far as if as a backup essentially. And then obviously one of the most controversial plays in the NFL at this point, the Tush Push. It is still a legal play in the National Football League. So, what's your thoughts on these topics as far as from the league meeting this week?
I'll say I'm gonna touch base on the f- the new OT rules. I like it. I mean, it seemed like now everybody eats, breathes, and everything else football. So it gives us a chance to really watch more football. You know what I mean? It's cool. You mean you get a possession and you get to defend. You know what I mean? You get a chance to defend. So I like that. The touch pull, like I like it. You know, I ain't never had an issue with it. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy that they still got it. I'm really intrigued with these things because to see what you got to say, and then when pertaining to the camera, the new camera thing, I think that that's where it's going. Everything's going technology wise. You know, everybody complains about the refs. So now, the next thing is relying on technology. It's coming. So we already know that. But if you really go back last season, it was some really bad it was some really, really bad issues to be 2025 where they were spotting the ball. It was some horrible. Wasn't there some issues like that in the playoffs also? That they were spotting the ball at the wrong
Yeah.
spots, like, and we can literally
Mhm.
see it on TV. And I'm like, how they don't see it? So,
Yeah.
I get. I will say this: at least the NFL is open to making a better product rather than saying we just gonna keep things how we always tradition wise. Um, so everything here, I really like. It's gonna be interesting about this camera thing and see how they really really do it, and if it's going to stick around, you know what I mean, or where it's going to go. So I have no disputes, but the tush pull and all that, I like that. I don't even understand why they didn't. What was the issue of
Hmm.
even talking about it?
Yeah. Obviously, I start off obviously with the triple header Christmas Day. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you just gotta roll with. I know last year I didn't like the fact of the Netflix thing, but uh, it was. I did like the presentation that Netflix did for Christmas, as
Mm-hmm.
far as as far as the picture was great, the sound was amazing. So they did a great job with that, and then obviously, that add another Thursday. Well, even though it's a Thursday night game anyway, but the fact that
Mm-hmm.
hey, you get to see Taylor Rooks on Christmas. So Taylor Rook Thursday. It's still even gonna be on a Thursday. So it's hey, that's I'm cool with that. So I'll always be a fan of that. I'll always be appreciative of a Thursday of a Taylor Rooks Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, OT. To me, it really didn't even really matter. I do like the fact
Right.
that it is 10 minutes instead of 15 because you think to
Right.
yourself, you already have really played 60 minutes of football, even though it's really the
Yeah.
plays and all that's 12 some second, it's like a few minutes that you're really playing, but there's still wear and tear on the body when it comes to the same stuff,
Yeah, I
even
like that
though
too.
if you look at the tape. So I do like the 10 minutes. Regular
Mm-hmm.
season, I'm cool with it. Like, I mean, as far as and having the same, because having the same rules in the regular season versus the regular season, I think they both should be in concert with each other.
Right.
Because I know, like, I can remember when San Francisco and Kansas City was in that Super Bowl 2 years ago. Well, not 2 years ago, but last calendar year in 2024. And like how those guys was confused about the overtime rule, because most time you probably think to yourself, well, no, you the post, like, I'm glad that they both have the same type of rules, like, you know, for regular season and the playoffs, because sometimes that can get confusing, because sometimes you forget, like, okay, yeah, that's right, because because Wishy thought Dave was gonna win the game, and I
Mm-hmm.
remember that, and I'm like, no, no, dude, like, Patrick Mahomes and them got get the ball. They get an opportunity. They get a crack at it.
Right.
So that's one thing too, where you just look at it just from a standpoint. So I do like that, and I do like the camera angle as far as them measuring the down distance. I really kind of want to see if they're going to integrate that in the broadcast, because I think that would be really fascinating if they can have
Mm-hmm.
something where we can see the spot, and, like, obviously, if you look, you have those games, and obviously, like, you have, like, I know, like, one of them has like Dean Blandino, one has other referee, I forgot, Statutor. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
are they gonna have an angle where they kind of talking about the down and distance in that play? So I wanted, we'll be able to see that one of those camera angles, this to see, like, kind of where the ball should be spotted at. So I think that's gonna be kind of interesting, kind of being concert with the other camera angles already. Would it be a part of that broadcast? So I definitely think that's gonna be really fascinating for sure.
Okay. Okay. Do you think you watched the game on Prime before, right? Don't they have like an alternative viewing or something, like almost like a video game?
Religiously, yeah, they have like a next gen type of like a next. When I'm telling you, when I be telling y'all, have y'all TV on at 6:59, and it's gonna come right up and boom, be in the front of the line. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you think I say that as a joke? I do that every Thursday, 6:59. It never fails. I go on there, click that live button, and boom, and it stays on all night to the. I woke up one time, it was a concert was on. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But yeah,
But isn't there a view where it almost like a video game?
mhm.
And that's
Yeah,
what I'm
because they kind of
saying.
show you, yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, they have what they call like advanced stats. They got that, and then where you can
Right.
kind of see like how the play is going. Yeah, they
Right.
got all kinds of innovative type of stuff on Amazon for sure. Oh yeah.
So the reason I'm saying that, do you think it's going to be something like that?
I mean, it can. I mean, as far
Right.
as that, like as far as maybe the camera angles, that was my biggest thing. More like the camera angles, the see, because obviously you'll see because we have it now already. But I wonder with that technology, will it enhance it more than what we normally would see? Because obviously, like they'll show like the replay of the play, and they'll kind of do the, you'll know what kind of like where the ball was at as far as that. But yeah, I think more so as far as the angling wise, like as far as will it show us a better angle? That's my biggest
Right.
thing, and will it be incorporated in the broadcast? But yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
For me, like it's the NFL, and it's supposed to be so closed-minded, and it's just cool that they're being open to a lot of different things. Like it's really starting to change,
yeah.
but it's still got to have some type of chaos. So it's gonna be real interesting when we see for a fact that was a fumble or something, or just something, and we'd be like, and they still go
Mhm.
the other way. We'd be like, hold up now. You got all these cameras. You got it's 2025, 26, and y'all still making bad calls. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
and
interesting.
it's good. Yeah, and that's the thing. Even messing with the calls, it's still, even though with this advanced technology, there's still going
Right.
to be some human error baked
Yeah.
into that situation. So I mean, and I do like the fact that they're not necessarily getting rid of the chain game this
Right.
year. Kind of see how it goes, and then obviously with the chain game, they'll be the ones that are, you know, in the event of if something if they're needed, they'll be of assistance. So I'm really definitely curious how this all gonna play out, and I think it should be fun. I mean, obviously another angle, but yeah, for sure.
What about the touch pool? How do you feel about that? I really was wondering how you thought about
Um,
all that.
I don't like it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I just don't like it because it's just one of those things where I know people are like, oh, it's a part of the game, but it's just to me, how do you defend that? Like, and that's the thing about that. It's just like, and obviously, how I feel about it, as far as obviously that was a big play in the NFC Championship game last year. So obviously, I still feel a little salty about January 26th. It still lives in my mind rent free, even though it's April the 2nd. It still lives rent free in my brain. I don't care. Like, don't talk about something. You'd be happy to be there. No, you don't. You don't get that far. You don't go. You don't win
Yeah,
12
no.
games. You don't go into Detroit
No.
and beat them by 15 points,
And
and then for you to
dominate.
get beat
Yeah.
by and
Yeah.
get beat, and then
Right.
But my thing with the tush push, I personally don't like it. I mean, I do understand the fact of it. Hey, you're that close in the end zone, you got to stop them. But that's like I think look at the sequence of plays in that championship game, because it's like you get to a point where even when Frankie Louvu tried to jump over top of it, he's getting penalized, and then they're talking about something. Well, we're gonna let him. If you do this again, we're
Right.
gonna let you score. I'm like, this man could have damn near broke his neck trying to stop this play. Like, it's
So
ridiculous. But I mean, yeah.
since they're letting it go, do you think that they're eventually gonna like people are gonna start like drafting or like getting bigger guys or something to be able to stop it? Because it's you
But
always find a way to adjust.
but that's the thing. I don't know how you can, because all you're really doing is pushing these guys forward on the line. And it's like,
Right.
even when Frankie Louvu was trying to go over top of it, it's illegal. So
Right.
it's going to be really difficult to stop that. And I think that's a
Right.
thing where you really can't. I mean, it's. I mean, what would be the best example? It's almost like driving a truck through a brick wall at like 100 miles per hour. That truck is gonna go through. I don't care how sturdy. I don't care how much sheet rock, crack rock, all kind of rock, all in on that wall. But if you're going at a certain distance, you can. It's like it's what is it? I forgot. But anyway, it's like going through a train track. It's a train track, literally. Yes. Let me be a hero and let me be a hero and stop this train coming. You cannot stop the train. You cannot stop that train. And if you try to do it, it's illegal. And then they're to a point where if you do this again, we're gonna give them a touchdown. You're saying that in arguably one of the biggest games of the season? Talk about we're gonna steal you a score. No, you're not. Like, we're trying to stop it.
I wish I'd have been there. Like, I wish I'd have been with you.
No,
I know you was like, what?
No. I was insufferable. No, don't. You didn't want to be around me because I almost had to apologize to my family. Like, for real, I was pissed. I was mad. Because that's the thing, people don't understand. You don't get that far. Like, you gotta understand. You don't get that far and think of more victories. No, I'm trying to go to the Super Bowl. Like, because you know how rare this opportunities are. Like, this is the first time they went since 1991. Like, I was a child. I was 6 years old? Well, no. How old was I? Carry the 1, carry the 2. I was 6. No, I was 7. I was 7. I was 7 years old. Like,
that's when Mark Rippon won?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since in January 1992. I was 7 years old.
Who'd y'all beat? Y'all beat Buffalo. That's right.
Beat Buffalo in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think, but we ended up beating. What was it? No, Detroit. We ended up beating Detroit in the NFC Championship that year. But anyway, yeah, we all. They gonna have to do. We'll do something about that one day, but it's all good. We'll figure it out. But
man, I give y'all 3 years. 3 years, y'all gonna win the Super Bowl. I'm telling you.
I hope.
I said that I was at a bar and I plugged the show and your other show, your new show, and he's a Commander fan, and they still upset about the name. And I was like, no disrespect. I said the Skins, that's the culture. I said, but I think y'all ascended to become the Commander. I said Commander is like the Skins on steroids. Is just something about them. And I said, even with the ownership, it feels the same but different. Like, you know what I mean? And I said, soon as that happened, with y'all ownership and the way everything is going, I said, I give y'all 3 years and I believe y'all gonna win the Super Bowl. And he was looking at me like he didn't want me to leave. You know what I mean? I said, I don't think people understand that sometimes. I said, I don't think people understand sometimes. I said, I believe y'all got something new, and I think y'all needed it. You know what I mean? When I was like, I give y'all 3 years, it feels different. You know what I mean? Feels different.
For sure. But yeah, man. Yeah. So we're gonna stay in the not stay, but we'll go into the little NBA action. So we gotta talk about a very a disturbing firing to much chagrin. So Taylor Jenkins, former Grizzlies head coach, was fired earlier last week at a point where there were 9 games left in the regular season. He coached, been the coach since 2019. He went 250 wins, and then 9-14 in the playoffs. So Tomas Izelo is now the interim head coach.
Excuse me.
What are your thoughts on Taylor? Taylor Jenkins.
It's I don't understand. Like, I really don't understand. But then, I really didn't hear anything about he had to fire all his assistants, and then they hired all his assistants, and he had to I didn't hear. Did you hear anything about that last year?
I found out Friday when he got fired.
Thank you. That, right.
I mean,
to me, he's free because I'm like, why would you do? He's the if you're changing, if you're trying to change your franchise, first thing, and you got this coach that's been with you since 19, and then y'all went through the pandemic together because they were one of the most exciting teams in the bubble. That's when they changed. It was in the bubble. And then they had something called the play-in tournament. Well, I think the next year they used the play-in tournament. They beat the Warriors. It's just a lot of stuff. And then it goes all the way with Dylan Brooks poking with LeBron, and then they didn't re-sign him. And that should have been that right there should have been the first the first thing to say, okay, this they're messing up. Because I was like, he had his own Draymond Green to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you dealing with John Morant. John Morant gets hurt a lot. I mean, a lot. And they still had success even when he wasn't there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if that's the case, that means you really pay attention. John Morant got hurt. He got suspended. Dylan Brooks had got hurt. They always have major injury issues, and they still always in the mix in some type of way. Like I think the year that it's so much stuff. They was starting to be the young team with swag. They had their own little thing they would do when they was coming from the tunnel. It's a trip, B. And then so like, okay, we paying attention. They still in the mix of making to the playoffs, and it's a new offense. Then I had to pull back and think, well, damn, I really haven't heard much about John Morant this season. I maybe like one or two dunks, but not the same excitement that what I mean, you would hear every year. It's almost like, okay, he must just be trying to stay out the way, and they're not just more just dissecting because nobody really know what's going on. So they was like, really, they was trying to do more of a Phoenix Sun type of offense before he got rid of his assistant coach, where they was up and down, up and down, and they tried to make like a half court, which makes sense because Edie's there, and John Morant really didn't like the half court type of offense. He doesn't like it, but man, it's just that it's these coaches that are just getting fired, and they're not the same ones from back in the day. Like the Detroit coach, Kenny Atkins, that got fired from Brooklyn, and then he's having this success in with the Cavs. Yeah, it's just like I said, the Detroit coach is changing and changed that team around. Monty Williams was doing a great job with Phoenix, and ownership comes in and fire him, and he goes to Detroit and just, you know what I mean? It's just weird. It's just extremely weird, and I guess we'll see what's going to happen with this Memphis team. But I don't think it's going to be. I mean, if you were Ja, wouldn't you be kind of thinking about maybe it might be time to move?
I mean, it just depends. It like depends on just the direction that as far as what they want to do. But definitely, as you mentioned, definitely you got to give a huge shout out to Kenny Atkinson, the coach of the year. You know what I'm saying? Part of that 1988 University of Richmond Sweet 16 team. So definitely you shout out to Kenny Atkinson, coach of the year for sure. But anyway.
You the best, B.
Taylor, man. Yeah, man.
So you the best, B. You the best, B. You loyal as hell when it comes to Central VA, bro.
Taylor Jenkins, I feel for him. That's another 1984 brother. Surprisingly,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Taylor Jenkins, September 84. So us 84 guys got to stick together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the timing of it was really weird. Obviously, this kind of, to me, I kind of figured they were going to get rid of him at the end of the season, potentially, if this team, especially considering the fact how they have been in the regular season, if they, obviously, because I'm not sure what place they are currently as far as standing wise, but obviously they're in that mix, they're in that cluster mix of of the playoffs, and they, so For them to fire him this time of year, I just found that really odd. And I think, like you said, it really boils down to those assistant coaches, and like they were, and you think obviously we talked about the current head coach now, Izalo, and then also Noah LaRoche. Uh, I didn't even know this is like I said, I didn't know that they are 7-figure assistants. So they are
What?
$1 million assistants. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So then I thought to myself, oh, okay. So when this happened, I was like, okay, now I understand this. But the time I understand the firing, but the timing of it is just really weird to me. Obviously, we are so close to the playoffs. At this point, I can understand this was a midseason fire and everything won't going well. And like you said, for Ja Morant, he has a problem with this offense. Because a lot of people are thinking that was the reason why Taylor Jenkins is gone because of Ja Morant. And as I read, as I do my homeworks, do my Googles, just let me know. This is kind of one of the moves where it's like, Jog had to audition. This ain't, he's gone from the people looked at him as the face of the NBA to on his way potentially out in Memphis. Like, people looked at it, I was like, he has a problem with this offense, and the person who implemented this offense is still here. And like you said, and the fact of him getting rid of the 5 assistants, and that's like, you think to yourself, the assistants are literally the fabric of your team. I know a lot of people, oh yeah, it's a coach's coach. But assistant coaches are literally like the fabric. They are the glue. They are the glue that holds everything together. They are, if I want to put it from a car aspect, they are the engine that keeps this motor running, that keeps this car running. They are the tires that keep the wheels moving. Taylor Jenkins is just the driver, which driving is important. But them assistants, they keep the car going so he can drive it. And to get rid of all 5 of them. Like when I read that, I was like, oh, Charlie, that's what this is. Okay, I understand now. But yeah, I'm telling you, when Shams reported, yes, I was initially shocked. I am still shocked of the timing of it, but I am not surprised. I figured this was gonna maybe, as I read into this, maybe they would have got fired when the Grizzly season concluded. But at this point, yeah, the writing's on the wall. The writing was on the wall, and the wall was written full of cryptic messages. Right. The wall probably said, "Get out."
Part of it though, I think Ja got to look in the mirror. You got to understand when people are down for you and got your back. Because regardless, Ja put money in. Like, if Ja's not there, ain't nobody really trying to go see the. Edie is not Ja. You know what I mean? So ain't nobody really trying to buy tickets to go see that team. So the only way to hurt him and control him is, you got rid of assistants, which one of those dudes was Ja's guy, and now you get rid of the coach. You know what I mean? It goes exactly what I was saying earlier about with Carmelo Anthony, where your career, you feel like you up here, and then certain circumstances start happening, and then it's like, okay, you're getting hurt a lot, you got yourself in trouble a couple of times, and you get hurt a lot. So, okay, you've been in the league for a good minute, like, you and Zion, that get hurt a lot. So now we have to start, okay, let's put a system in there. You know what I mean? Let's put a system in there. Well, I don't really like the system. Well, there's 2 guys that people call the GOATs, and they were free to do whatever they wanted to do until a system came in and implemented it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they implemented it, and eventually they still was free, but they knew they can always go back to that system because they believed they trusted the system. which is the triangle offense. I'm not saying that this is the triangle offense, but it's all part of it. You know what I mean? If you want to push forward, you got a big weapon there. You got to figure out a way to try to get it. So I get all of that, but hey, man, that's what happens. They start getting. They ain't gonna get rid of you. You put butts in seats, but we can move this coach. You know what I mean? And then eventually, if you don't, because like I was watching Gil, and Gil went a whole nother way. He was talking about keeping people there that can't get the supermax. He was talking money and business wise. You know what I mean? Because all them guys get hurt.
Yeah.
Like even Jackson gets hurt. Is it Jackson, right? Or is it
Yeah, Jaron
Johnson?
Jackson Jr.
Jaron Jackson Jr.
Yeah,
They all get
yeah,
hurt.
Jaron. Yeah, yeah,
They all get hurt. Like
because
it's for real.
yeah,
They get hurt.
yeah, and I think that's where they're moving forward with Jaron Jackson Jr. And I think, in my personal opinion, it's just me, because like
Mm-hmm.
to me, they have played better in spite of not having John in the lineup. So that's where it's kind of like I said, he's another one where he can go from being the face of the league and people viewed him as that once upon a time to
Right.
now not even being in Memphis. And I definitely think, especially, Jaron Jackson Jr. had an all-star season this year as well too. So, and obviously we talked about the two assistants. They love pick and roll, so you
Mm-hmm.
get you a guy that can, that can fit. They got their role. I mean, they got their pick. Well, they got Jaron Jackson there, and they can roll with him. And I'm telling you, man, I do not be surprised if Jaw's out the door. I would not be surprised if I would not be surprised.
One more question. What
Mm-hmm.
any team, even if they got a coach, what team would you like Taylor Jenkins to coach? Any team.
I would say the Wizards. I would say the Wizards,
Okay.
especially, and I'm just saying this if and this if was a fifth, but if they especially they get the number one overall pick and they can get Cooper Flag. I don't even care if
Okay.
they get Cooper Flag. It don't even matter. I think if I'm him, I would go. If I'm the Wizards brass, I put that way. If I'm Ted Leonis and them,
Mm-hmm.
I would shake the bushes and see, hey, how give them a little time. Obviously, now you know really gonna be talking about it. I mean, obviously, those guys probably done packed up pretty much for the summer. I mean, as far as the Wizards wise, you reach out to Taylor Jenkins maybe about 2 weeks. Come bring him down to DC, take him to a nice quality steak dinner, give him a nice prime cut of meat. Pause, and we
There's
have a conversation. We have a
there's some chick.
conversation and say, hey, yeah, I mean,
No,
yeah,
go ahead.
if
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I would have the conversation with him and just see,
Right.
just to see. And I think if Washington decides to get rid of their current coach, I'll put it that way. But I think if any coach opening,
Right.
I would definitely. I mean, because he's a great coach. Like, I mean, you think to yourself, he resurrected this Memphis franchise. They're another team like people don't fail to realize, like Memphis, Memphis. He still did a good job in Memphis. I mean, yes, I mean he had his challenges, but every coach has their challenges, and like you said, he could be a situation where we talked about Kenny Atkinson, how he kind of got railroaded. Then you look at like JB Bickerstaff, where he's obviously he's another one. We were sitting here this time last year. Well, not
Right.
last, maybe about 10 months ago, 11 months ago, give or take, when when they got rid of him, when they got rid
Mm-hmm.
of him in Cleveland, and then you see what ended up happening. So, and that's why I think it's kind of strange that, when we talked about those who type of situations, when it's weird because the Monty Williams one was kind of shocking, but then obviously I think the JB Bickerstaff was odd because they made it to the second round. They won a game 7 and beat Orlando.
Right.
But look at how both these teams have gone. Obviously, Cleveland, the best record in the East. Detroit, they're gonna have a week off for their first game. They ain't even gonna be in the play in. They went from
Right.
winning 14 games to now probably gonna be the 6th seed in the East.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. But
Um,
yeah.
I'm gonna throw you mine. All right.
Yeah.
Because I was just sitting
Mhm.
here thinking, like, I think that's the same thing. I'm gonna say the Bucks. I know Doc there, but I was just thinking
Yeah.
of Giannis. I was just thinking of Giannis and how Taylor Jenkins, like how his setup was. They was kind of a up and down team speed, and I think that he would be able to, because that's Giannis's strength. Giannis's strength is not,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna get past you. He's more of an up and down type of player. You know what I mean? And I think he'd do well. Then I also think Giannis, he gets hurt, but Giannis is a little different than most, and a lot of his teammates, they get hurt a lot. You know what I mean? And I think Taylor Jenkins done been through so much. He knows how to coach through those injuries. Like, you know what I mean? Those significant players being hurt, and I think that's what Giannis always been dealing with. You know what I mean? So I was
Yeah.
just thinking, when that's why I asked that question. I was like, damn, man, he would probably do well with the Bucks. A good coach.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. He's gonna be really sought after. Like I put it this way: if he wants to coach again next season,
Hmm.
trust me, he won't go hungry.
Right.
Meaning he'll have a job. Not saying
Hmm.
he's good financially, but I'm just saying, you know, I can see him getting a coaching opportunity in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
As far as because he's gonna probably be linked to any vacant jobs that come up if he don't, obviously between now and the draft for sure.
I know we got to move on. Do you think if the Clippers don't do well this playoffs, that they're gonna fire Ty Lue?
Nah, they shouldn't. He the best thing that's
Okay.
going. Like you can't get rid of one of the best. I think one of the best not young coaches, but I still say you keep him.
Okay. Okay.
I say keep him. Yeah, because and that's one thing too. You got to hold on to these coaches. I mean, I know nowadays
Right.
it's really easy to get rid of guys, and like people they be going like a drop of a hat. But we talked about firing coaches. We definitely got a guy that's gonna be in Colorado potentially for the next several years potentially. With Coach Deion Sanders, aka Coach Prime. So um, another one that got an extension. He had a 5-year extension that runs through the 2029 season, and it's a 5-year, $54 million um, extension. So he's the highest paid coach in the Big 12, and then he's one of the top 10 highest paid coaches. So how it breaks down. So next season, well, this coming season, the 2025 season, he'll get 10 million. 2026, he'll get 10 million. 2027, he'll get 11 million. 2028, 11 million. And in the final year of the contract in 2029, he'll get 12 million. And now people's like, oh, well, he's going to go here. He's going to go there. Wait, there's more, my friends. If he decides to leave, whoever wants to take him, they're gonna have to pay this amount of in buyout. So if he decides to leave this year, it would be $12 million. If he decides to leave in the 2026 season, it'll be 10 million. 2027, it'll be 6 million. 2028, it'll be 4 years, and then in the 2029 season, 3. So these are all years prior. So, like if say for instance a job comes up now, I'll just give an example. Sycamore University, just did off the top of my head, they would have to pay Colorado essentially $12 million and buy out his contract. So if you got money like that, so that's one thing kind of keep him in the throws there. So what's your thoughts on Coach Prime getting that extension? What are your thoughts on it?
Congratulations for both parties, for Colorado and for Dion. Like, I still kind of think he's underpaid because it's a lot of, like, he got his show. It's a lot of, like, he got his social media, his son's social media. Like, it's so much. Just him. It's so many. It's like 2 or 3 different social medias from his sons. Like, I mean, YouTube channels, and it's a lot. Like, it's a lot of exposure for Colorado. You know what I mean? And it's getting to the point now, to be honest with you, when I think of Colorado State, I think of Deion. Like I was just listening to somebody talk about maybe going some college basketball player maybe getting in touch with Deion and then let Deion help him maybe getting on color. It was a trip, and I'm like, dang, like I think it's great, but I think he's still a little underpaid because he's going to bring them a lot of exposure. He's bringing them a lot, and I think he wants the bread and the attention, but he also wants to be creative and free, and he wants support. You know what I mean? And trust my ideas. I have great ideas, and I think Colorado, they ride with him. They like almost saying, Deion, take me. I'm going everywhere you want to go. You know what I mean? And I think that's what he wants. He's a very creative guy, and I think when you're creative, um, that's what you want. When you're an artist, almost a genius, that's what you want. You want people to just constantly not question you, but to back you. You know what I'm saying? So from my standpoint, man, I, I can't knock it, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I watched it. I didn't even watch Jackson State. I started watching when he was at Colorado. And a lot of it was because of being on this show and saying how bad they were. And we just watched it. And I watched every game. I stayed up to like almost 4 a.m. one night and then watched all social media talk about, man, I can't believe dudes was like, man, I'm up 3 o'clock in the morning watching the college. You know what I mean? So it's a lot, man. And then you got the Prime show on Prime. That's exposure too. You know what I mean? That he's been doing since he was on Jackson State. It's a lot, man. I think, like I said, I almost want to say underpaid.
Yeah. And that goes this argument all the time. I remember like when Nick Saban got his extension, I'm thinking to myself,
Mhm.
he's underpaid. Like, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Same thing what I say with Deion. Yeah, and this is one of the things where it just shows like the commitment for it. And I think that's the beautiful thing about this situation is
Mm-hmm.
he turned a team and you think to yourself, well, we've been talking about Colorado football at 1-11. We really started talking about Colorado December of 2022 when the hire was made. That's when we
Mm-hmm.
started talking about Colorado football. Obviously, Colorado football. I don't know if we were on. I think we were on. I think that we talked about when Mel Tucker left to go to Michigan State. I think that's the only time that I really thought about. And then I remember thinking that Eric Bieniemy should take the Colorado job. And I think that's the only time we really talked about Colorado. But now we're to a point where Colorado is discussed. We talked about Colorado even trying to conjure up this spring game with Syracuse, which they were denied. Yeah, and he definitely deserves it. I mean, obviously, you look at just even from the standpoint of the impact of Colorado, you got 20% increase in applicants, and like you said, that's probably due to probably social media, that experience to say, hey, what the type of environment? Like if I'm a college kid, hey, just imagine how Saturday nights will be out here, and what have you. You look at what he's done there. Just this whole Boulder, the whole community in itself. And we're just talking about outside. I'm just talking about off the field. But now I talk about on the field, like what he has done. Like I talked about it. This team was a 1-11 3 years ago. You had still won 4 games your first year, which is still good for Colorado. And then you win 9 games and you go to the Alamo Bowl. And in the 32-year history of the Alamo Bowl, that game that they had, I think they played BYU. I think my memory is correct. I think they played BYU. But anyway, whoever they played, it was the highest rating Alamo Bowl ever in their 32-year history. Because people wanted to see
Wow.
that. Right. And even like somebody like I even watched it, and that was a Saturday after Christmas. That's when you had Denver and Cincinnati playing probably one of the best. I wouldn't say one of the best games, but it was a real good game. And that was kind of in between that. And so you think to yourself, Colorado, they put butts in seats, not just in the stadium, but on the couches, on television, and on couches, and they're watching on their respective televisions. And then you just even look at what he's doing with his team. I mean, you're bringing in like a 5-star athlete like a Juju Lewis, which when I did some homework on Juicy Lewis, I really felt like an old ancient man. That man was born in 2007. I was like, oh my God, like 2007. I was like, what in the world? You gotta think to yourself. And, and every year I always when I read, like when I look at gas scout report stuff and I look at their date of birth, and I'll be like, God, it's getting even worse and worse. But anyway, you bring in like Juju Lewis, a fast quarterback, and then you bring in one of the guys in our backyard, Caden Salter from Liberty, played in our backyard, and you think yourself, we're about to have a quarterback battle, like, and you think to yourself, like, and he's bringing that excitement, and I know obviously now in the post Shador, post Travis Hunter era, but I really want to see what these two quarterbacks can do, and I think that's another thing too, where just imagine like what he's doing now, and then as it's progressed, because he's gonna get those recruits. Because all he got to do is tell these kids nowadays, look at the draft in 3 weeks in Green Bay. 2 of my boys got drafted probably in the first hour and a half of this draft, and we talking about 30-minute, all these commercials and all types of. 2 of my boys are going to be drafted early in this draft in 3 weeks from tomorrow in Green Bay. That could be you. That could be you. That's all you gotta say. Try not right, huh? Well, I mean, Travis and they're gonna be first round picks. Yeah. Right. They'll be the ones who are gonna get drafted. Probably, I say no later than top 8.
Yeah, I think
even though Shador might fall, but they're gonna get drafted that Thursday night. Yeah. We'll put it that way. So to me, that would be my sticking point. Like he now has developed a Heisman Trophy winner. He's now going to probably develop a first round draft pick quarterback. So the sky's the limit for Colorado. And the funny thing about all this, guess what? We could be sitting here 2 years from now, and he get another extension because they're going to meet again in 2027 in good faith. So trust me, if you're mad now, in 700 days, you're going to be even more mad. You're going to be madder. Right. Because I definitely think in 2 years, they're going to come back to the table, him and Rick George going to come to the table, and you're going to see 20, 30 something. This train ain't going nowhere. I know Shador gone. Travis gone. It's going to keep moving.
And this is much see too, because they're gone. So now we're going to see, okay, was he, no disrespect, Prime, but was he riding his son or he riding Travis Hunter's back? Can he really be able to do his thing without his son, while his son's there and Travis? Because Shador is banging. Shallow's my favorite, but it's like this. Yeah. Shallow is my favorite. I like Shallow probably more than anybody, but I'm not about to sit here and say this boy Travis Hunter won something special. Like something special. Like I was sitting here like, yo, this dude is an alien. Like it didn't make any sense. Like they'll be losing horribly or something, and you could clearly see he don't trust throwing the ball. Like it, man, if you go back, it's just certain catches. It was just certain things that you were just like, I'm trying to win the game. Like, throw me the ball. Like, it was some catches you didn't think he was going to catch that ball. You didn't think he was going to, intercept that ball. Like, so.
He legit.
Yeah, he legit. So to me, I would even pay him that money for that, because people are going to watch just to see what Deion is going to do, because they're gone. So this is like a whole new chapter.
Yeah. And that quarterback battle is going to be fun, because I think either way, either one, to me, is like 1A, 1AA. Like, he's 1B, 1A, 1B. No, this is going to be 1A, 1 uppercase A, 1 lowercase a.
Right.
Like, I'm really curious, especially now. I mean, especially when you add the Caden Salter to the mix. Trust me, like Deion warned y'all against Oregon. Let me wait. Get me now while you can get me.
Right.
Because once he developed, because now he's starting to develop the trenches. I think another guy, I think down the line, and Jordan Seaton, I think he'll be a. I say this now, don't take as this is April 2nd, 2025, but I can envision Jordan Seaton being a first round draft pick. I can see that. So I'm thinking he's gonna churn out some guys, and I think obviously we talked about it earlier. You'll see the first rendition of it 3 weeks from tonight. But other than that, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, 20. We gonna be sitting here. I don't know what the first Wednesday in 2027, Lord willing. That man Deion got an extension to about 2032, 33.
And
Y'all gonna
he
be pissed.
understands. Yeah, and he understands what it means to trend. You know what I mean? Like he's even before trending was big, he understands. Okay, I know how to make things trend, and I'm telling you, man, that's just how it is. That's why he would Nike. I had to sit back and think about that. Like
Yeah,
that's why he would Nike. Nike get those people that know how to do things and say things that either controversy or positive. So they're
yeah,
always going to trend. It doesn't make a difference. There's such an
yeah,
impact. Like if you like it was, I was sitting here thinking like, oh my God, from Ja to Kobe, LeBron, Dion to Serena. I was sitting here like, oh, I get it now. Like, you know what I'm saying? To Kyrie, like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I get it. You know what I mean? Okay.
yeah. And you think to yourself, this man created this persona almost 40 years ago, and then it has
Yeah.
stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Like I tell, hey, just like I said, that 2034, 2032. Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, hey, we are telling you, 2 years we're gonna revisit this, and like I said, I'm gonna keep saying this again. When he get that extension 2 years from now, oh, y'all gonna be doubly mad.
Hmm.
But hey, but the sad thing about it, you hate on that man, but you still eating off his content. But
Yeah.
well, we don't I threw a few shots, but I'm gonna let that be. So we gotta talk about an interesting topic that transpired yesterday. Even though it was funny because this news is coming out like in early February. I know, more like late February. But it has been official. I know we were off air at the time. When the news first kind of there was rumblings. But this story comes from the Associated Press. Definitely huge shout out to Elaine Kurtenbach and Deanne Durbin for this article. And I'll read it as it goes. Hooters is going bust. The U.S. restaurant chain known for its chicken wing and its skimpy Hooter girls wait staff outfits. And these are the words from Elaine Kurtenbach and Deanne Durbin. Not views of me and what have you. But has filed for bankruptcy protection. HOA Restaurant Group filed the motion for Chapter 11 protection Monday in the North Texas Bankruptcy Court in Dallas. It is the latest restaurant chain to run into financial trouble amid high food.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
No, I know. I think we good now. I don't know why my okay. All right. I just started back from the top. So Hooters is going bust. The U.S. restaurant chain chicken wings and its skimpy Hooter Girl wait staff outfits has filed for bankruptcy protection. The HOA restaurant group filed the motion for Chapter 11 protection North Texas Bankruptcy Court in Dallas. It is the latest restaurant chain to run into financial trouble amid high food and labor prices, changing customer taste and growing competition from newer casual chains like Shake Shack. Red Lobster, TGI Fridays, and Buca di Beppo all filed for bankruptcy protection last year, while Tex-Mex chain On the Border filed for bankruptcy protection last month. Under the Hooters bankruptcy policy, 100 company-owned U.S. restaurants will be sold to a group of Hooter franchisees. These franchisees, who include Hooters founders, currently operate 14 of the 30 highest volume Hooters restaurants in the United States, the company said. So, your thoughts on Hooters filing for bankruptcy? What you got?
I don't know, man. Like I guess it's I delivered to Hooters now, and I had heard something about this, but they said right now they still got some financial issues. They're able to still the way they set it up, they still can make money and try to fix whatever issues that they got. I hope they revamp some stuff because like it ain't the same. You know what I mean? Like I went to another franchise, reminds me something of it, and that was Tilt the Kilt today. You know what I mean? It's not the same. It's plenty of TVs. It's you see the possibility it still could do well. But like I remember the last time I think I went to Hooters, I just felt like it was extremely expensive. You know what I mean? I didn't like, I felt like you got all these chains. You got Chili's, you got, you know, Buffalo Wild Wing, and you have all these different places where they have these deals. Have you ever heard of Hooters having some type of monthly or weekly just deal?
Yeah, they got one.
What is it?
Yeah, they got deal. Today, actually, Wednesday, they got the buy one, get one free boneless wings.
Oh,
I don't
boneless
know what
wings.
I'm thinking.
That is,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, that I did not know that, and
Mm-hmm.
that's I've never heard that before. I might have heard of the you know the 5 beer bottle beer bucket or something like that, but I've never heard any type of chicken deal with them at all. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They got
So
that.
it's buy one get one free boneless wings. How much is it?
Um, well, I'm gonna say this. I haven't gone to Hooters in 2 years. This is when I was went to Atlanta.
Okay,
I know it probably didn't cost me no more than about $15, and I then I ended up
okay.
getting some um curly fries with it. Yeah, I mean,
I got you. Now, I told you that I've been delivering at Hooters probably for the last 3 years. And even over the years, I've never heard of the buy one, get free, one free bonus wings. That's crazy. But hey, seem like a
Mhm.
lot of franchises are going through it. So hopefully they revamp and come back, you know.
Yeah, and that's one thing, like you said, and I kind of teased it in the beginning where news like that, when it hits different when you are of a certain age. Obviously, I said 35 and up. Obviously, I think for me, it is kind of nostalgic. I mean, obviously, because I remember a time, even in my 20s, even my 30s, going to Hooters. Especially when there was always a big sport, especially a lot like in my 20s when that was the place to go, to get stuff. As far as you would go to Hooters. It was a major sporting event. I know I frequented a lot, especially like maybe like in the early 2000s. When maybe like from like pretty much the whole 2000s really. That was the spot to go to. To get wing. Well, in my case, get boneless wings and do what you need to do. It's always like to me. Just I always think about nostalgic, and like to me, it's always fun. I mean, like you said, a lot has changed. I think the last time I've been, like I said, the last time I went was when I went to Atlanta 2 years ago. And that's funny thing about it. It was weird because once I, obviously, you know, going from the airport, taking the Uber to my hotel, and I'm like, okay, wow, there is a Hooters a rock throw away from my hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Drop your stuff off, go to the Hooters in Atlanta, and coincidentally it was on a Wednesday, and yeah, they had the BOGO boneless wings, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it is nostalgic, and that matter of fact, shout out to our guy Bear. He checked this out on IG. He said what's up to us, but Bear, it's another one. We went to the Hooters in Memphis. That was cool. It was fun, and like because that's where you go,
First of all,
like when you watch the games. Yeah, for sure.
that one in Memphis was legendary.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry. That one right there was serious. I
yeah.
was looking at her like, why are you still working here? Like, like you supposed to be somewhere else. You're doing some
And
other things with
that
your life.
right, and that's a thing where and back in the early 2000s, that was kind of like how like that was the thing. You were surrounded by beautiful women, great food at the time in this early 2000s, and the sports and then obviously it was on a sporting event like hey we would watch the tournament, pretty much anything football,
Mm.
the NBA finals. We used to do that a lot, especially and JB can attest this. We always used to go during the NBA finals every year, March
Right.
Madness. I think any
Right.
sporting event we would always go to, and like you said, and that was a restaurant like you said that you went not just in your local area. We've even gone a couple of times in Williamsburg. Obviously, I went to the one in Memphis. Oh, I used to
Right.
love the one when it used to be at FedEx, but now Northwest. Because at the club level, that was one of the reasons why I used to like going to the club level because they had a Hooters there, which that's been gone for so long now. But those, back when it was, I used to say going to FedEx like a funeral. Trust me, going to Hooters in the club level, that helped me a little bit better with the losses. I mean, I just keep it up, but hey, we are red blooded men that love chicken and women, and that's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. But I really do hope that they can get kind of get this get fix it and then kind of bring it back because I think that's a thing where it is kind of to me it's nostalgic. I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed my Hooters experience, and it's not like on some you just
Well,
yeah
you know where I live at. We're not gonna say exactly,
yeah
but you know where I live and where I
for
live
sure.
close to, and
Uh-huh.
where that Hooters is, right? Well, let's just say this. At one time, it did look like they was they was kind of hiring around the area. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh yeah, this don't look the
Yeah.
same. I will say this: it is now that I deliver there now. It's looking back to its old self. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
So but that Applebee's right there, like by the Kroger,
Mhm.
that joint right there be more packed than that Hooters. And I'm talking like the GM has taken over the one that I'm talking about. So I was telling him that because he's from Richmond. So he was
Yeah.
like, "For real?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Especially Friday and Saturday because I believe because of the bartender. You know what I mean?" And but so
Oh
yeah, like
yeah.
I said, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I said, I delivered the tilt the kill, and I thought it's wonder it's so weird because I knew we was going to talk about this, and it's the same. It's just a little darker, but it's the same kind of like the same feeling, and they have the same. They act the same also.
Yeah, and location is good. Like you said, I think, like I said, one like I'm glad that you gave me the alley hoop about the specials because obviously, when I went last time I went was the one in Atlanta. And like you
Hmm.
said, it was, and that's the thing. I think all of it, just like everything, just the whole dining experience,
Right.
not just Hooters, but most of those chain restaurants that we kind of mentioned in that article, um, those, and it's a different time, day and age at this point. And like they talk, in that article, they talked about Red Lobster, TGI Fridays. Those used to be your place to go for a special event or a special occasion. Like in our case, my case more so anything, like we would go for the Hooters for birthdays, especially I know me and my uncles used to go for our birthdays respectively. As far as when it's about time for my birthday, we'll go. My uncle birthday and my other uncle, with like that. So those type of chain restaurants, those used to be the place where you would go for, like, you had those events, like if you have a graduation, you have a birthday party. But now that has changed. So the whole dining experience has just drastically changed anyway. So I just hope they do revive it. I do hope that the 3 locations in our metropolitan area still stay there. And I think they just need a new fresh coat of paint, and for first a power wash first, and then a fresh coat of paint. And I think they'll be fine. And I just hope the 3 ones in our area stay. Hey. I hope we're not one of the ones gonna get a chopping block.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, the one that's near me, it looks different. It don't look like it used to look. They put the bar in the middle, and they took away. It's just a lot of things. I think they did. I remember when we was on the road, they changed the menu. They made it smaller, and then they put the bar like in the middle, and it took away from a lot of the seating. You know what I mean? Used to be the sitting was way more sitting, and it's just things like that. I don't know. Maybe it just, I tell you this, that carry out at B-Dubs on Tuesday be serious. And so to hear you say that Wednesday is boneless, buy one get one free, I'm shocked.
I think
that's part of the reasons.
I think it's still that, and I think it still exists. I know that was what it was 2 years ago. So don't necessarily quote me on that one. That was, in fact, almost 2 years to the day. I think it was in April of 2023. Matter of fact, come and think about it, it was, matter of fact. But and I definitely gotta give a huge shout out to the one in Charlotte too, right by the Raceway. I mean, look, don't laugh, man.
Hey, the one in Myrtle Beach is serious.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. Oh Lord, yeah, North Myrtle Beach. Yeah, never remember that too. Yeah, see, hi. It's a shame that I've gone to so many different states. Like that's not good. That's not good. But that's the thing where especially you realize certain places you go for like nostalgia, and I think for me that's what Hooters does for me. I think it gives me a piece of nostalgia. Obviously, being able to hanging out with my friends. Watching sporting events, certain moments. I remember like when VCU beat Duke, where we was at? We was at Hooters. When certain sporting events you remember when the Celtics won the championship, Hooters. Right. I think any sporting event in the early 2000s, we pretty much was there. And but hey, atmosphere. It's all about the ambiance. That's what it's all about. The ambiance. Ambiance. My bad. Yeah, you want to. It was a great place to get some fairly decent food and to be around the company of a beautiful woman. What more can you ask for? And sports.
You can do that at Waffle House too.
All right, and then guess what? You could be smelling like ham, biscuit. Now you're gonna smell like bacon. I know one thing. Well, you
gonna smell like what? Smothered in chunk.
And you gonna smell like the cigarette, the dude that's sitting out there telling he the only one that's there. So you gonna smell like cigarette smoke. You gonna smell like sausage, bacon. You gonna have to take a shower, and it's almost like damn. Cause I'm not sitting on my sofa or in my bed with that smell like that. I'm gonna have to take a shower, and then my food will get cold.
I went to a Waffle House, and this dude been working by himself. He ain't watched no dishes. It was like every table had
Right.
dirty dishes on it. And he was like, it's gonna be a minute. I was like, okay, you getting it to go? I was like, yeah. He said that would be smart.
Yeah, because he ain't got no dishes. Unless he gonna give me a paper plate. I mean, I'm just
So when I
saying.
was leaving out, it was like
Yeah,
six cars pulled out. I was leaving out. I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a minute.
yeah, and that's another thing too. I think, and that's another thing. I haven't been to. I haven't been to a Waffle House, and that's another one. I haven't been to a Waffle House since when I went to Atlanta, and that's another thing.
Mm.
And oh my god, at the time, this is years ago, and I told at one time a young lady I was dealing with at the time. She was like, "So what you?" I was a food at Atlanta. I was like, "Well, I told her a few restaurants, and I told her I went to Waffle House, and she was like, "Why would you go to Waffle House?" I'm like, "That's just like me getting a Reese cup in Hershey, Pennsylvania. You gotta go and get that. You gotta get it from the source. Atlanta is Waffle House. You think I'm not going to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and not getting a Hershey candy bar? Are you out of your mind?
Right,
What is wrong with you? Are you being weird?
right. That's like me this weekend. I'm going to Akron. You think I ain't going to Swenson's and Geno's?
Facts, exactly. Like I'm exactly. That's why they're there. Like that's why they're there. Like I'm gonna go to the Staples. I'm gonna right, and then like Atlanta. Like when I went to Chick-fil-A, they was like, "Why'd you go to Chick-fil-A?" Chick-fil-A is Atlanta food. I'm like, well, yeah, yeah, it's like, yeah,
Right, right.
y'all want to be going to Papa Do's, and I'm like, look, just let me go to Waffle House by Centennial Park and just leave me the hell alone.
Right, right.
Okay, right, okay, you copy. So
Right.
we'll put a bow on tonight's Couch Coach Live. We're gonna give out game balls this week. Who gets this week's game ball for you?
I'm giving the game ball to two NBA players who balled last night. First one goes to the Joker, 61 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists in a double overtime loss to the Timberwolves. And then I'm gonna give it to Akron-born Stephen Curry with 52 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals. He shot 12 threes. He was balling, man, and they beat Memphis.
Yeah,
I was gonna give
and
it. I was gonna get it. Look, I'm sorry. I was gonna get it. I'm sorry about that, man. I was gonna get a game ball to Westbrook, but I was like, no, we're gonna keep it positive.
I'm still mad. I fell asleep on that game. I'm still mad at myself for that not staying up. And it was funny because I was like, well, I'm gonna stay up. I sat on the other side of the sofa, but then I ended up making my way to the L shape of L side of the sofa and night.
Right, right. I
Damn.
feel you.
I tell you, man, the price of being a middle-aged man in America, man.
So silly.
Young folks, get your rest in your 20s and your 30s. Because now being a 40-year-old man sitting on your sofa it's been my bed for the last couple of weeks. And during the NFL season. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man. That's tell you, man, being a middle-aged man in America, sometimes it be hell, man. But hey.
Sometimes.
But the beautiful thing about it is you go night, but you wake up the next morning. So I'm thankful for that. And hey, we say I say it as a joke, but hey, it's a blessing to wake up in the middle of the night on your sofa and you still here and you got a roof over your head and people that love you. So yeah. So I gotta give this week's game ball, and we've always championed Mercedes-Benz Stadium for low concession stand prices. We talked about the Utah football, not Utah football team, the Utah hockey team, maybe last year about their concession stand prices.
Right.
We definitely got to give a game ball. I do have a football. Yeah, I'm actually, you know what? We gonna do it up this today. We got to give it to the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers of what they're doing is so special this year. I think they have 4 items that you get from the concession stand, and it will be free. I think it's a choice between nachos, hot dogs. I'm not sure what the 3rd item is, but the 4th item is a soft drink. So if you are in the stands for the football season for Coastal Carolina this upcoming season, you have a choice to pick 4 concession items for free for for each time. So you can go back. Now, mind you, you get 4 at a time, but you can always come back and get another 4. So limit is 4 for each time you're in that line. Download the app. I think they're gonna have an app coming up shortly. That's how you'll be able to access the free concessions. I know people saying, "Oh, well, they're gonna jack up the price." No, I did my homework. Very affordable prices. You get a season ticket for $150 plus a $50 fee. So you can get season tickets for $200. And you can get unlimited concessions.
Wow.
Coastal Carolina, I'm telling you, if I was a resident of Conway, South Carolina, our calendar would be marked every Saturday they play. Do not invite me to a wedding. Do not invite me to a birthday party. If God forbid something happened, do not plan a funeral on the Coastal Carolina Saturday. Because you know me, old cheap couch coach. If I was in Conway, South Carolina, trust me, I would be there every week and taking advantage of them free concessions. But I definitely got to give a shout out to Coastal Carolina. But boy, y'all better be glad I don't live in Conway, South Carolina, because I would have messed that thing up. Boy, oh boy. But shout out to Coastal Carolina. Great promotion, what they're doing there. And hey man, if you're in Conway, South Carolina, take advantage of this deal. Do not plan anything. You lucky because you not planning nothing on my watch.
Right.
Ain't nothing gonna stop me from getting that free food on them Saturdays in the fall. So Coastal Carolina, you get this week's game ball. Respectfully. I even instituted a football for you.
Right.
Yeah, man. So we'll put a bow on tonight's show. Social media, where they can find your social media, and any final thoughts.
Oh man, Sean Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78, Instagram. Oh man, great show. Sending love and strength to my grandmother. She's not doing too well. She's actually in hospice. So I'll be down. I'm leaving Friday, so hopefully, good travels up to Akron, so I get to see her, get to see my family. I'm hoping somebody else pop up I hadn't seen in years. That would be great. But yeah, man, just sending love and strength to my family.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And sending my thoughts and prayers to you, man. Also, safe travels as you head, I guess, west,
Northwest.
Northwest, a little northwest.
Yeah.
I had to
Right.
put up my little geography hat on that one, and I think Carmen Sandiego would be proud of me. Any of my geography, any of my geography teachers back in my younger days. But yeah, man. Pretty much Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Under Couch Coach Live. Also check out Gridiron District. That's pretty much anywhere social media wise, Gridiron District, where we cover the Washington Commanders and the DC Defenders. So yeah, man. So this wraps up this episode of Couch Coach Live, episode 335. And we'll catch you guys on 336. And we're out.
Welcome.